Hey, how's it going? It is James from musicmastery.net here with you today, and we're going to talk about the two sentences that will help you book more gigs without you needing to pick up the phone. So, basically, spoiler alert, if you're booking big gigs by email, this is going to help you massively. Personally, for me, I've gotten about 35% more gigs as a result of using this versus not. I first found out about this a few months ago, and it's been working brilliantly since, so I really wanted to share it with you. And so it's just two sentences. So I had to add a little bit of a preamble to try and get some more watch time in. But basically, when you send an email to a venue, normally what happens is you'd say, hey, my name is so and so, here's my EPK, here's why you should book me, here's my price, get in touch, let's do the thing. And then maybe 50% of the time, it'll just be radio silence and there'll be absolutely nothing going on. And you're like, well, on to the next venue. And, obviously, if you're losing like 50% of venues on like this very first stage of the funnel, it's like, dude, what are you doing? So normally, what I would do is I would just call up and say, oh, hey, just checking you got my email. Like, is everything cool? And at that point, they'll be like, oh, no, sorry, we missed it. Oh, send it again. And then you send it again. But to save me that time and effort, what I've started doing is at the bottom of my email, I'll just add a short line before I say, sincerely, James. I'll say, hey, I know that you're super busy, you're incredibly busy, and, you're probably, like, not going to see this message. So if it's okay with you, second sentence, I'd like to just follow up with this in a few weeks and, make sure that you got it and check in, is that alright with you? If no response, I'll assume that you haven't seen this, and then I'm going to send it anyway. And so some variation of that, what it does is, for me, who doesn't necessarily like doing all the phone calls, prevents me from going, hey, did you get my email? No? Oh man, let me send it again. That's one big benefit, which I personally like. But the other thing is, it also sets these very clear expectations of, hey, I will follow up on this. Hey, I'm going to follow up on this. And then a nice little thing is that you can just keep sending that same template, right? Like you just copy and paste the last email exactly until they respond, which is kind of a nice thing. You don't want to overdo it, obviously. Like you're not sending it daily updates. But, maybe like once a month, you can just copy, paste. Just checking that you got this earlier. Copy, paste. Just checking that you got this earlier. And you just keep on doing that until... And, it takes like less than a minute to do this follow-up, which is really, really awesome. But the other thing is, if you do consistently do this, it actually shows that like you will make a commitment and you will fulfill that commitment, right? So, one of the things that venues struggle with when they're booking musicians is finding people who are reliable, who will say, hey, music's going to start at 5, it's going to finish at 8, and everyone's going to be having a good time. And then they hire that musician, and the music starts at 5:09, finishes at 7:53, and people are there somewhat. So being able to stick to your word and actually say, hey, I'm going to follow this up in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, just going through and doing that, it actually shows, hey, I can stick to my word. Hey, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. Hey, look at me, look at me. And it's a really small commitment. So, how you should incorporate this from end to end is you've got your really effective email script that you send out all the time. Great. You add in your two sentences, however you choose to word them, but something to the effect of, hey, I know that you're super duper busy and that, you probably won't see this. If it's alright with you, I'd like to follow this up and make sure that you got it. I'll send you another email in 2 weeks just to check in on how things are going if I don't hear back from you. Full stop. Then, in 2 to 4 weeks, you send off that reminder email and you say, hey, just checking that you got this, copy, paste. But then at the bottom, this time you're going to say, if it's alright with you, I'm going to call up in 2 to 4 weeks. And so I've found that using that system and having a much more like regimented, time-bound follow-up process, I mean, I already had it in a spreadsheet, so it's already pretty time-bound, but doing it this way has actually made it so much easier for the venues, because it's like, if they see the email, then they're like, that's all right, they won't follow up. Then you do follow up the first time, and then maybe they actually look at the email and they're like, yeah, that seems all right. Oh, they said they're going to call me. Well, I'm just going to answer the phone when they call, I suppose. And then you call up, and then maybe they don't answer, maybe they do. And you say, oh, hey, it's just James Dent here, just checking that you got my email. I wanted to discuss XYZ Act. Call me back when you can. Great. And then if they don't call you back, you send another email and you say, oh, hey, just checking that you got my phone call. Here's my phone number if you want to call me back. P.S. I'll give you another call in X number of days. And having that process, I think, has honestly saved me about 35% of the gigs that normally I would have lost, right at the start. It's like, you send an email, you pick up the phone and they don't answer, and you're like, well, I don't want to be a spammer, I'm not going to send anymore. But now, I have implied permission to just keep going. And as I say, again, don't do this daily, because if you do it daily, then you are just spamming them. But if you have these, reasonable time intervals, and you're just taking these small, reasonable steps, and you know when to stop, you're chilling, and it's going to really improve the amount of gigs that you get. So, if you liked this idea, if you want to see more of this free stuff, the easiest way to support is just chuck a like, chuck a comment, chuck a subscribe if you're not already. And then if you want more of the good stuff, our paid program is top link in the description. You'll be able to find it. You'll be able to figure it out. But don't need that. Just if you want to support us, our sponsor is me. And just chuck us a like and a subscribe. Alright, thank you for watching. See you at the next one.